The Rangers need to improve their offense in 2025. But what if the way to do that isn't through a big free agent signing, but rather through the trade market? We've got 5 candidates for Texas to trade for this winter. All that and more on this episode of Locked On Rangers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked on to the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 11 seasons, including all 6 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank y'all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, before we get into the 5 different candidates the Rangers could trade for this offseason to help improve that offense, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Now, the Rangers, there's no secret to why they underperformed in 2024 as the reigning World Series champs. The offense was just not up to snuff. It just wasn't good enough. There was a lot of internal candidates that took big steps back. Looked like maybe 2023 was a career year for the vast majority, if not everybody on this Rangers roster in 2023. And while they're taking some steps to improve in 2025, signing at this point, as of this recording, which is on Wednesday morning, the Rangers have signed the biggest free agent bat on the market. Granted, it was Kyle Higashioka at 2 years, $13.5 million. And I don't anticipate that holding up for very much longer. But the Rangers do need to improve that offense. They need to add some thump. They could use another right-handed bat, as they're pretty lefty heavy, a righty that crushes lefties. Or honestly, they could use a lefty that crushes righties, because the Rangers couldn't hit righties very well either last year. So they just need some kind of help, some kind of jolt. Really, offense is going to be coming from either DH spot or a corner outfield spot. Those are probably the most likely candidates for the Rangers to, places for the Rangers to add some kind of offense. They're looking for some more firepower, some more thump, some more power is a lot of what they were missing last year. Had some decent on base guys, still have, decent on base guys, but a little bit more pop in the lineup, I think, is what this team could really use. So let's look at candidate number 1 that is assuredly going to be on the trading block, because he is a good player on a horrifically terrible team in the Chicago White Sox. That's right, center fielder, Chicago White Sox, Luis Robert Jr. This is a guy who's coming off of a terrible season, which is not surprising given that he was on one of the worst teams in the history of modern baseball. Only played in 100 games last year, and despite having a stellar career, this was by far the worst year of Robert's career. He's heading into his age 27 season. He is under contract for 2 more seasons after this one, so 3 seasons of control. Right now, he is going to be making $15 million in 2025, but that only counts for 8.3 mil towards the luxury tax, because this was a long-term contract extension signed, I believe, before he even made the major leagues in 2020. This was a long-term deal with several options, including team options in 2026 and 2027. Those years he will be making it $20 million, but there are also $2 million buyouts in each of those seasons. So even though he's making 15 mil this year, only counting 8.3 against luxury tax, that is something that the Rangers will definitely care about. Even though he's making more money in 26 and 27, the Rangers, it's looking like with that backloaded deal of Higashioka, and with, hopefully knowing a little bit more about how much money they're going to be making from the TV deal in those years later on, it'll be more stable. They'll be more able to pay for that kind of production. But I think financially, this makes a lot of sense with Robert. I mean, the good parts of Robert, obviously last year was an awful year for him, but for the rest of his career, he has been a sensational player, including a career year in 2023. That was his first All-Star season, a 5-WAR season, played in 145 games, and had 38 home runs, 36 doubles, an 856 OPS, was an All-Star as a Silver Slugger, finished 12th at MVP voting. He also had 20 stolen bases. This year, a career high 23 stolen bases. He plays a really, really good defensive center field. Has a lot of raw power. You may remember him in the home run derby in 2023, putting up just some absolutely absurd shots. I mean, truly some of the best raw power in the game. I mean, right up there with the likes of Giancarlo Stanton, with Aaron Judge, I'm forgetting to think. Oh yeah, Shohei Ohtani. He's also a pretty good power hitter, but the raw pop, the bat speed for Luis Robert. I mean, it was only in the 84th percentile this year. I mean, this guy is a guy who is a freak athlete. He's very fast, very good reads in center field. If the Rangers want to just put Evan Carter as the everyday left fielder, White Langford as the everyday right fielder, and move Adolis Garcia to more of a DH role, then I think that would make sense. With Robert suffering so many injuries, that's the other downside of Robert. Even though he's got all this athleticism, all of this speed and power, he has missed a lot of time in his career. I mean, the 145 games he played in 2023, that was a career high. This year, he only played 100. In 2022, he only played 98. In 2021, he only played 68. Though he was very healthy in 2020, the shortened season, played 56 of the 60 games in that year. For his career, a 790 OPS. The on base is not great because he doesn't walk a lot. He strikes out a lot. But when he makes contact, it goes very, very far. His strikeout rate this past year was in the second percentile of the league, also chasing in the bottom 10% of the league, swinging and missing in the bottom 2% of the league. But he has done that always. That has always been a part of his game. He is not a guy who's going to walk. He is going to impact the baseball. He is going to pick it in center field. He is going to be fast. He's going to be a freak athlete. And he's got 3 years of control. He's still young. He's heading into his age 27 season. So the Rangers would have him for his 27 season, his age 28 season, and his age 29 season. And if everything falls apart, if he has another horrific season, the Rangers think we just can't stomach paying this guy $20 million in 2026, then there is the $2 million buyout option. And the same thing for if all falls off a cliff in 2027, there is that buyout option. If the Rangers wanted to move him to right field, had Evan Carter as your everyday center fielder and put White Langford in left field and then move Adolis to the DH role, then I think that would be also a fine, solid option. I think that Robert has that. I know that Robert has that big old arm. So putting him in right field of those guys that I think would be playing every day if the Rangers traded for him in the outfield of Evan Carter, White Langford, and Robert definitely has the biggest arm. I think he is the best asset in center field, but again, we haven't seen Evan Carter play center field at the major league level for an entire season. I think that he could do it. I think he would be fine to above average to potentially very good. But again, you want your best arm in right field. And of those three, I think Robert definitely has that. It would be a risky trade for sure. I mean, he suffered 16 different injuries over the course of his career, major league career, which started in 2020. That's 5 seasons, 16 injuries. 3 injuries per season. The highest he's played number of games is 145, and he's only hit over 100 that one time. So there is some extreme risk here. Obviously, if you're a person who absolutely hates watching strikeouts, you are going to be very frustrated watching Luis Robert. If you're someone who loves watching great center field defense and freakish athletes, then you are going to love watching Luis Robert play. I guarantee he is on the trade block of all of these guys. I think he is the most available, possibly. Maybe one more later on is a little bit more available, but the White Sox are going to be horrible in 2024 or 2025 as well. There's not that many teams that are just straight up having no aspirations for competing in 2025. It's going to be them and the A's and, well, the Marlins and the Rockies. That's it. Those are the only teams with absolutely zero aspirations heading into 2025. The White Sox, I think, would ask for a decent haul for Robert, but I think the Rangers would be able to bargain it down because of that injury history, because of he's coming off of a truly terrible season. I'm sure there will be other suitors, and I think that other teams might be a more reasonable spot for him. But this is a guy who I like, I know is on the trade block, and I think would definitely help address some of the Rangers' shortcomings and help them bounce back in 2025. Coming up, we'll look at a couple of candidates for that DH spot, including one that's in the Rangers division. Talk about that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you placed your bets. Right now, they've got some MLB odds up for World Series winner in 2025. The Rangers did not move the needle of Kyle Higashioka's signing. It's been a whole day and a half or so, and the Rangers are still at plus 3,300, the 14th best odds. They are ahead of the Tigers, now no longer tied with them, ahead of the Twins, the Royals, the Brewers, all some playoff teams from this past year. So you can go to FanDuel.com to join today, and you'll get started with $150 of bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Now, the number 2 candidate for the Rangers to trade for to improve their offense this offseason is a guy who I have loved for a long, long time. One of the best hitters in baseball. That's right. It is Brent Rooker, the no longer Oakland, A's DH. I'm still going to call them Oakland because I don't like John Fisher, and I think it's a travesty that the A's are no longer in Oakland. And for A's fans, this would be a travesty if they traded Brent Rooker. They have publicly, I don't know if publicly said, but it seems like the vibe they're trying to put out is, hey, we don't want to trade Brent Rooker because, we're going to go play in a minor league stadium next year, and we think we'll have about 3 fans there because everyone hates me, John Fisher, the owner, for taking them away and running them into the ground, and overall just being kind of scummy. And we do have one good player, actually a couple good players, in Brent Rooker, who's got 3 years of control. He finished 10th in MVP voting this year, won his first Silver Slugger now that the DH spot is open for him and Shohei Ohtani is not there. Last year, he was an all-star for the first time. This year, for some godforsaken reason, he wasn't an all-star. I honestly have no idea, but he's coming off of a 5.6 WAR season in 145 games where he was basically just a DH. That's really hard to do. Putting up that kind of WAR numbers when you're only hitting, it's incredibly impressive. He's coming off of a career high 927 OPS, hit 293, 365 on base, 39 bombs, 26 doubles. And oh, by the way, he also stole 11 bags. Just not something you see often from a DH. He puts the ball in play hard. He also has a little bit of a problem with strikeout, not quite as bad as Luis Robert, but in the 10th percentile of strikeout rate, 5th percentile of swing and miss rate. The chase rate is in the bottom 30th percentile of the league, but he walks pretty well. 69th percentile, a nice walk rate. He also slugs the absolute crap out of the baseball. I mean, he hits this ball incredibly hard and has for years. In 2023, he had 30 home runs, his first year that he was really, given the ropes. He's been a guy who has always hit at basically every level he's been at. Go look up his numbers his final season at Mississippi State, where he slugged over 800. It was honestly incredibly impressive. And, other teams have given him chances at times. He came up with Minnesota. It was the team that drafted him, but he couldn't play the outfield, and they couldn't really wait around for him to figure it out offensively. They didn't have a spot to give him, an everyday spot to go and hit and mash. Then he played for San Diego for a couple of games, and he played with Kansas City for a couple of games in 2022. And then 2023, the A's said, okay, well, we got plenty of spots. If you can hit, then we'll put you out there. And he hit. And then he hit again this year. And he's got 3 seasons of control. He's going to be making around $5.1 million in arbitration this year, according to the MLB trade rumors, their estimation. He's got 2 more arbitration seasons after that. He is going to be a 30-year-old DH. And while that doesn't sound like the most attractive thing. This is one of the best hitters in baseball. He provides pop. He hits righties. He hits lefties. He works counts. He gets on base. He drives in runs. He comes up in the clutch. This is legitimately one of the best hitters in baseball, and nobody really paid attention because he was over there in Oakland on a pretty terrible Oakland A's team that honestly had quite a few really good hitters on it. I mean, Shea Langoliers, Lawrence Butler, JJ Bleday had a really solid season. Wouldn't be surprised if the Rangers kicked the tires on maybe a trade for Bleday, another great power hitter who also plays center field, though doesn't have the extreme strikeout rates of Luis Robert. But Rooker is a guy who I've had my eye on. I think the Rangers might have at least engaged in some talk. I'm sure they at least looked at trading for Rooker at midseason this year. He'll be less expensive than if they traded for him at the deadline. I think he would probably be the most expensive in terms of trade capital to get of these guys, but I think he would by far make the biggest impact. He's exactly what the Rangers need. He's just so incredibly good. And I think that this would be the best way to improve the Rangers offense. It's the best possible way to improve the Rangers offense with one bat this season, short of signing Juan Soto, which I don't think is happening. I'm not going to say it won't, but if you're going to sign one bat to just vastly improve this offense, I would love a Jock Peterson signing. I would love a Randall Grichuk signing. But of the one bats that's not Juan Soto adding to this offense to vastly improve it, I think that Brent Rooker is by far the best option there. Now, this is not the best option, not the best positional fit, but this is a guy who's been a really darn good hitter the past couple of seasons. This is Yandi Diaz, the Tampa Bay Rays first baseman / third baseman / second baseman / really he's kind of a DH. He is a right-handed hitter, a one-time All-Star, a one-time batting champ, just barely edging out Corey Seager for the batting title in 2023 because he was a coward who decided to sit on game 162. Finished sixth in MVP voting that year. That was his only All-Star season. Won a Silver Slugger that year at first base. He's going to be heading into his age 33 season. He has got another year of control after this. He's going to be making $10 million in 2025. He also has a team option for $12 million in 2026. He absolutely annihilates lefties, and on that team option in 2026, there is no buyout. So if he is anything but what the Rangers are hoping for in 2025, then they could just cut bait for free on Yandi Diaz. He was definitely being shopped by the Rays this trade deadline. I think the Rangers were one of the teams that were at least asking about him. I know that the Astros and the Yankees were teams that were asking about him and will probably be asking about him in trade talks this winter because he's making $10 million. And for the Rays, that's crazy expensive, even though he's been really, really good in the past. But this was a down year for Yandi Diaz, only a 1.64 season, only a 755 OPS, where his career OPS is over 800. His numbers against lefties are just been sensational for his career. Against lefties this year, against righties this year, he was pretty not great. Against lefties, he wasn't as good as he's been in the past. Still really darn good this year. A 924 OPS against lefties this year versus 706 OPS against righties. He hits the absolute crap out of the baseball. He doesn't walk at a super elite rate, but he's still got incredible on base skills. A 373 career on base. He's had that on base north of 400 2 of the past 3 seasons. Actually, it might be more than that. Nope, just 2 of the past 3 seasons. But 3 of the past 6 seasons, he's had a very, very good on base percentage for his entire career. If he hit the ball in the air a little bit more, he would be more valuable. And if the Rangers wanted to go more of a platoon split with Nathaniel Lowe at first base and also Yandi Diaz, so Yandi hits against lefties and Nathaniel Lowe hits against righties, I think this would be one of the best first base units in all of Major League Baseball, with just the kind of combination those two could put together. I don't think positionally this makes the most sense. He is a very good hitter. He is, again, heading into his age 33 season. He has never had more than 22 home runs in his career. And so if the Rangers are looking for thump, then maybe this isn't the best option. He only had 14 last year. He's actually only had one season where he's had north of 15 home runs. He's had 14 this past year, 14 in 2019, and 22 in 2023. That was the only year where he had more than 15 bombs in a season. But the Rays are very much a team that works in the margins. And if you're making more than $10 million or even really more than like $5 million, you are on the trading block for the Rays. This could be an interesting option for Texas if they wanted to get another bat that absolutely obliterates left-handed pitching. But I don't know how much of a fit it is, but I know he sure as heck is available. Coming over to look at two potential outfielders, one left-handed hitter, one right-handed hitter, who is also in the Rangers division, right after this. Now, looking at another right-handed corner outfielder, this guy would be kind of Randall Grichuk-y in his fit, in that it would give the Rangers someone to plug out there in a corner outfield, move Adolis to a DH role, see if his offense bounces back, if he's got more days off of his feet playing the outfield. This is a guy who's been a solid defender out there in each corner. That's right, I am talking about Taylor Ward, the corner outfielder for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He's going to be heading into his age 31 seasons. He's been in the bigs for parts of 7 seasons, 547 games, only 2 real full seasons where he's been fully healthy, but he is coming off of one of those fully healthy seasons. A 758 career OPS, a 110 career OPS plus. So he's been about 10% better than league average with the bat. This would not be very expensive in terms of trade capital because he is going to be making $9.2 million in 2025. This will be his free agent walk year. So if he's healthy for the full season, he is going to be a free agent at the end of it. He's projected to make $9.2 million this year in arbitration. So a little more expensive than a guy who is coming off of a decent 2.3 WAR season. I mean, he's about a fine everyday regular, and that's about what he would cost. Of these options, he is definitely the least expensive in trade capital. He would, I think, really help improve the Rangers offense while not costing a whole bunch in the farm. His best career season was a 3.64 season back in 2022. He's played all kinds of different positions. He's played first. He's played a little bit of third base. He's played left field. He has played right field. I think right field is probably where he would stick with the Rangers. But that career season in 2022, he had 23 home runs, an 833 OPS, 134 OPS plus. This past year, coming off of a career high 25 home runs. So again, adding that thump that the Rangers desperately need. Also 26 doubles and a pair of triples as well. Only 6 stolen bases, which was a career high. He's fine. Pretty solid. Not too flashy, not too crazy, and wouldn't be too crazy expensive in trade capital. That's why I included him in this deal. The Angels are claiming that they're going to compete in 2025, but I think we all know that's not really going to be the case. With Ward heading into his walk year, there are some other guys in their farm who might end up getting a little bit more of a look. Maybe a healthy Mike Trout will, make Mickey Moniak and Joe Adell, and that's what their outfield is going to look like, and they won't have space for Taylor Ward. But again, I think that this is, while not a very sexy, intriguing option, I think it's solid. And I think solid is underrated. A lot of times when you're looking at potential trades or potential acquisitions, you want, okay, the home run pick, the absolutely surefire, no doubt this guy's going to be incredible. Or, this, for me, I get suckered into guys like Luis Robert of like, oh, this could be terrible, or it could be absolutely amazing. With Ward, I don't see a scenario where it's absolutely amazing, but I don't see a scenario where it's terrible. And I think it's a surefire improvement in a position of need to help shore up that depth, just give some more options to the Rangers to improve that offense. That's the reason why I included Taylor Ward in this trade board. Now, the last candidate, another Ray, projected to make more than $10 million, or actually, I guess Yandi Diaz was going to make $10 million this year, but Brandon Lowe, second baseman / outfielder for the Tampa Bay Rays, the 30-year-old heading into his age 30 season. He's got a club option for $10.5 million this year that was picked up. I was surprised by that because he's coming off of a decent season, but not anything too crazy. A 2.4 WAR season. He only played in 107 games this year, a 783 OPS. He's had some really great seasons in the past, but this one was just kind of fine. He played in 107 games this year, 109 last year. He's missed some time with injuries because in 2022, he only played 65 games. His best year of his career was back in 2021, played in 149 games, had an OPS of 863, 39 home runs, although maybe the year before was a little bit better. Although it was the COVID shortened year, 56 of the 60 games, he had 14 home runs in that season, a 916 OPS, finished 8th in MVP voting. In 2021, he finished 10th in MVP voting. The last couple of years, he's just been kind of fine. And 21 bombs each those last couple of years where he's played around 110-ish games, 770-ish OPS, about 21% better than league average last year with the bat, according to OPS Plus. Mainly just hits against righties. He's mostly played second base. He's not going to play second base if the Rangers trade for him. But again, he's making it $10.5 million this year. He's got an $11.5 million club option for next season with a $500K buyout that could go up all the way to, I believe, $12.5 million if he finishes top 5 in MVP voting in 2025, which I'm not really thinking is going to happen. But he hits the ball really well, strikes out a decent bit, walks at about an average rate. Defensively, he's fine out there, not particularly fast, but his expected slugging percentage, the barrel rate, the launch angle, sweet spot, bat speed, all of those are really, really where you are wanting to see them. You look at some of his numbers for those career years; they have been up there. He has been a guy who the advanced numbers like quite a bit for the past few seasons. You look at those numbers for 2020 when he finished top 10 in MVP voting that year. I mean, they looked incredible. Most of his home runs are pulled, but this is a guy who would be, I don't know, moderately expensive in terms of trade capital. He's someone who the Rays are always looking to move anyone making more than $5 million because that's just kind of the way they work. And while I think it would be interesting, I don't know how much of a fit it is. It would be kind of fun to, if Brandon Lowe moves away from the team that has Josh Lowe just in time to think you're getting away from the Lowe confusion. You'd move to another team with a different Lowe brother and you'd have the Lowe confusion there as well. I don't know how likely an option Lowe is for the Rangers specifically, but I think this is a guy that's definitely worth including on this list, a guy who I was intrigued about the Rangers possibly trading for at midseason this year, and someone who I thought the Rays might just straight up, not pick up that option. When they did, I thought, okay, either they're big believers in him or they are looking to move him this winter. I think moving him this winter is much more the case. Now, let's rank these in terms of how much I want them to happen. Number one of want, Brent Rooker. Number one. Number two, Taylor Ward. 3, Luis Robert Jr. 4, Yandi Diaz. And 5, Brandon Lowe. In terms of what they would cost in prospect capital, I think Rooker would be the most expensive, then Robert, then Diaz, then Lowe, then Ward. I think Ward would not cost all that much at all. Rooker, I think the A's would probably ask for Alejandro Rosario or also Jack Leiter. If it was for Rooker, I would consider maybe adding both of those guys in there for a deal. That's how highly I think of Brent Rooker. I think the Rangers would only be willing to include one of Leiter and also Alejandro Rosario. I think I'm higher on Rosario than I am Leiter, although the name recognition of Leiter, maybe the A's would think, oh, well, we can get somebody kind of famous so people will actually care about our team. But I think this is a decent way for the Rangers to go about improving that offense while not adding too much to the payroll. I think that Rooker, especially since he's only been making $5.1 million next year, I think that will also make it a very, very costly thing to go and get Rooker. I think there will be a lot of teams that are in on Rooker. There's a lot of teams that could use one more of the top 5 to 10 hitters in the league, and plop him in there in their DH role. I think that would make a lot of sense for a lot of different teams, the Rangers included. I mean, I think he would make a whole lot of sense for them. Robert, I think, is the riskiest of the bunch, but could be the highest upside of any of these guys. But I think that it's more likely the Rangers go for a free agent signing in a Jock Peterson or a Randall Grichuk or whatever else they decide to go that route. They do need to add one more bat. Like that feels like a sure thing. If the Rangers want to get back to contention, you can hope that all of your guys get back to where they were in 2023 or somewhere close to that approximation. But I don't think the Rangers can just straight up run it back and say, oh no, everyone will just be fine and better than they were. That's not a logical, it's not a reasonable thing to assume. It's not, a rational thing to say, okay, all of these guys are going to get back to normal. You need to supplement it with one bat, whether that's through trading for Rooker or Robert or signing a Jock Peterson or whatever else the Rangers want to do. Just adding a Kyle Higashioka, well, I think that is a great move and will have a big benefit for Jonah Heim because both those guys will be splitting time and therefore have less wear and tear on their body throughout the season. I think the Rangers do need to add a big bat. And if they are making a big old trade, I think Brent Rooker is the best option for them to go ahead and do that. That's going to do it for today's show. Tomorrow, I'll be back talking about pitchers, barring some kind of breaking news. But that'll do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing. And until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.